Hello everybody and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Democracy 3 Australia, playing on maximum difficulty, and going into year 2 after what I would consider to be a fairly successful year 1, hopefully indicative of a very successful presidential administration, or I guess ministerial, prime minister, never mind, not presidential at all. Point is, I think things went pretty well last time, as far as just sort of laying the groundwork. Yeah, we had to raise up a couple of taxes in order to start cutting down our deficit. Yeah, we had to get rid of basically Social Security, but we're trying to really stamp down on crime. And we're also trying to improve the health and productivity of our civilians, which in the long term will actually pay some great dividends for us. But year 2, arguably, is the most crucial year for me whenever I do one of these Democracy 3 campaigns, because not only is it now time to start swinging around the voter demographics so we can have the long-term benefits of the election, but also this is about the time we need to start looking at reshuffling the cabinet, which can always be strenuous. It is arguably one of the most important mechanics to the game. So without any further ado, let's go into the next turn. Debt protection law. Debt collection agencies are being aggressive again. We've seen this before in many other playthroughs. We can limit them, and that sounds like the sort of thing that the socialists would like us to do, right? So let's go ahead and limit their activity. And I'm pretty sure that the poor will like me better, but the wealthy probably will not. No, the wealthy don't give a crap, actually. It's the capitalists who are going to be upset by this one. Yeah, by 6%. I do need to be worried that the capitalists will try to assassinate me at some point, but, I don't know. I mean, we're just going to have to ride through the storm for a little while, I think. If I feel really threatened, I'll have to increase my security measures, but for the time being, let's try to stabilize the country. Alright. We need to continue getting rid of some of these negative events. Ghettos are not going to go anywhere until vigilante mobs and street gangs are dealt with. Street gangs are starting to go down a little bit. If we can fix unemployment, that actually would go a long way for us. What about vigilante mobs? Vigilante mobs are on their way out. That'll be good. Antisocial behavior's taking a little bit of a dive here, but kind of leveling out. Okay, one more thing we'll have to fix. Organized crime. You know what? Actually, organized crime is something we could definitely deal with. This is a huge contributor to crime and violent crime itself. And so long as this exists, the people of Australia will see us as a weak leader who can't deal with the mob. One good way to deal with that? Get rid of freaking gambling. Why would we want gambling? It's a sin that leads to poverty and disaster. Oh, man. Anyway. You know, they say that this can be taxed nicely as a form of revenue. I see no evidence that we actually get any form of taxation out of this, so I'm going to say that gambling is almost always bad. You do get a slight GDP boost, and I would actually think it's more appropriate to say a tourism boost, simply because you're bringing in people who want to gamble. Generally speaking, I do not think you can say that gambling inside of a country results in just better economic turnout by itself. It's usually outside parties wanting to come in and gamble when they can't do so in their own country. At least that's how I kind of would look at it, but maybe I haven't looked at the data in completion, I don't know. Either way, by reducing this down to 0, though, first off, it basically just nullifies everything, but it doesn't cost me 32 points, it only costs me 14, so that's significantly better. And we actually don't lose all of our favor with the capitalists. It still stays at about almost 1%, so we'll lose about 3% favor with them. And more importantly, we'll lose about 3% to the GDP, but in order to get rid of gambling, I think that might be worth it. And it only cost me 14 points in order to do this, so we're going to have to do it eventually anyway, and also this actually makes the religious happier, which can be pretty good for us as well. Now let's see, what else do I want to do? You know, I would actually like to continue on the trend of improving our nation's health a little bit, because the state healthcare service is actually one of our highest expenditures right now. In fact, it is our highest expenditure right now, so anything we can do to improve the health of our citizens so that they don't need our healthcare would probably be a lot better for us. By the way, it's really quite expensive to lower this or just outright cancel it. It's just never going to happen. So yeah, actually, is there anything else that we could do that would work? We already did the health food subsidies. We already did the Eating Well campaign. Actually, compulsory school sports basically does the exact same thing as both of those. Yeah, alright. So in exchange for 364 million Australian dollars, yes, I did look it up, and thank you to those in the comment section who are trying to be helpful. I now know it is the Australian dollar, so thank you. But this AC does spend some money just straight up for health. 4%. Maybe not quite as good of a value as some of the other ones, but it's still pretty darn effective. So, yeah, why not? I'm okay with that. We're going to save the rest of our points, though, and move on into turn 2, because I think it is time that we finally reshuffle this cabinet. I'm watching their productivity just completely plummet, and we really can't afford to do that. The problem is, I really wanted to make the Conservatives a lot happier and kind of get rid of some of these events before we do this, because right now, whoever we hire is not going to be as effective because the Conservatives are unhappy. assuming I have a minister who is sympathetic to conservatives, which I think is very likely. So, but on the plus side, in the rest, sometime by the end of the year, probably, the conservatives will start getting a lot happier as street gangs, antisocial behavior, and all sorts of other stuff goes away. So, it's going to be hard to really know for sure which ministers are best, but we'll take our best guess at it. Credit rating downgrade. Crap. All right, now we're down to a double B. This is really quite bad, isn't it? But there's only so much I can do right now. It does not help that the global economy is still in a recession, but crime is finally starting to dip down, and health is going up, which is something we really wanted. So let's take a look at crime real quick. How's it looking? Okay, yeah, it is still on the downtrend, but it's still remarkably high. Until we can get rid of some of these negative events, I just don't see that being better for us. Now, this is great. Vigilante mobs is going to go away as of next turn, which is going to get rid of ghettos, or at least help get rid of them, a lot faster. So that's nice at the very least. It'll also make the conservatives significantly happier. Ghettos, that's not ghettos, that's street gangs. The ghettos. Liberal ethnic minority equality. Immigration. This does not make the conservatives happier, but it'll at least make the liberals less likely to murder me. Let's see, antisocial behavior. We're going to need to do something else to kind of kick this over the line. Maybe more religious people, or maybe, I don't know, maybe CCTV cameras. We might need to do that for security reasons anyway. Organized crime is going to go away as of next time, so that's going to be a huge dip in the crime as well. Yeah, things are looking pretty good. I expect by the end of the year we're going to start seeing some great turnaround in law and order in Australia. Deficit is still not getting too crazy, which is nice, I suppose. I guess there are a couple things that I really want to do right now. One, I want to start increasing conservative membership, and I think that's going to be absolutely crucial for us in the future. And I can think of only one really good policy that's available to us pretty cheaply right now, and that's actually gated communities. A drastic solution to serious street crime and vandalism, which we have, and self-police residential areas. They are popular with the wealthy, but often associated with class divide and inequality, as only the relatively wealthy can afford to live inside them. As a result, some governments are reluctant to permit their construction. Honestly, as far as I'm concerned, people can do this if they want to. If, a land developer owns the land, if they want to create a community, I think that's a good marketing point to appeal to people, and they want to build a wall around it and have security guards, that's up to them. It's their land, they're the landowners, they lease it out, sell it to, homeowners and stuff like that, and it's up to them, that's fine. Personally, I've never lived in a gated community, and I will admit, there is something kind of snooty about going to a gated community. That said, they're also usually really clean with really good land values, so meh, I don't know. It's not something I would ever say people can't do. I'm just not sure that people really need to do it or should do it. But in Australia, where the street crime is running rampant and there is supposedly organized crime, this could be pretty good for us. Now, the big reason we're doing this, though, is one, conservatives will be thrilled. We're talking like 38% approval with them. That's amazing. Now, equality going down absolutely does suck, but we're going to take a lot of steps to try and improve our equality in the future, so I'm not too worried about it right now. This is the big one. Liberalism minus 10%. Now, if you don't know, in Democracy 3, there is no such thing as a conservative membership slider here. Basically, if you are not a liberal, you are a conservative. And if you are not a conservative, you are a liberal. That's just how the game works. The same thing with capitalism and socialism. So anytime we reduce liberalism membership, we are effectively increasing our conservative membership as well. So we're going to go ahead and pass gated communities. This is going to take 12 turns to really have effect. But reducing our liberalism membership quite a bit is going to be great, because they hate me, and the less there are to try and kill me, probably the better. Now, we still have 11 points, so I guess now is the perfect time to go ahead and do a cabinet reshuffle, which I'm a little bit nervous about. This, again, is one of the most important aspects of the game. I think it is important to do it early. If you are relatively new to the game, let me explain something real quick. What most people will do on YouTube is they will look for whoever has the highest political capital generation, and they will hire them immediately. That is absolutely the wrong tactic. Ultimately, this number will shift throughout the game, and if this minister, for example, Renee McDonald, does not like you, then this number is going to drop down to about 1 until she quits, and then that actually is going to cause some serious problems in your administration. By the way, this lady is just creepy. I'm sorry. I've always looked at her and thought that her eyes are like pure black. It's just terrifying alien eyes. Ooh. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. The point is, what you should be looking for is the people who sympathize with the groups that you are intending to make happy. So, for example, trade unionists and socialists, actually pretty good. Conservatives and patriots, sure. Religious capitalist? Not a fan of the capitalist thing. Odds are pretty good, his loyalty will drop, and he will be even less effective than he already is. Farmers are usually a pretty neutral group, not hard to make them too happy. Ethnic minorities, absolutely not. You see what I mean? These are the kind of things you want to look for. Liberal capitalists, I don't care that she's got 4.8. She will be a problem for me. She will actively subvert me. This number will go down, and in the long term, all I'm going to do is have to spend more capital to try and replace her after she quits and causes an uproar. So that's kind of the rationale behind all of that. Now, unfortunately, on maximum difficulty, it is really important that you get a good cabinet together. So what I'm actually going to do real quick is I'm going to pause, and I'm actually going to take some notes and find out who I think is best and try to allot them appropriately to their respective jobs. So stand by for a little bit, because I need to do some research. Okay, it took me a few minutes in order to write up a chart and really plan people out, but I have finally decided on my cabinet. So, here's who I have decided. May the lucky people please come down and accept their badges. For the Foreign Affairs Minister, I don't know why there's a foreign policy, but foreign affairs is kind of mixed up there, but alright. We've decided on Chelsea something. I didn't memorize anybody's last names. Chelsea Roberts, congratulations. Farmers and Parents, 4.9, and she does want foreign policy. Works for me. For welfare, we decided on Bonnie Cox, farmers and environmentalists. Come on down, you lucky girl. Economy, Haley, where's Haley? Haley? Has anyone seen a Haley? Haley Mills, trade unionist and patriots. Tax, we decided on Renee McDonald, trade unionist and socialist. Public services, who did I decide on public services? Some older lady. Where are you? Madison Young, religious and conservative. Probably the weakest on the group right now, but in the long term, she should be pretty good for us. Law and order, we decided on Jordan. Where's Jordan? Jordan Hill, 4.6, conservatives and farmers. And then finally for transport, we decided on Ben Wilson, 4.1, parrots and patriots. So you'll notice the theme that all these are groups that I plan on targeting. Parents are going to be important for us a little bit more than you usually would. Conservatives, patriots, and trade unionists are all particularly strong with this group. So hopefully they will serve me well, generate much political capital, so that I might improve the country in our image. All right, that's done and over with. Let's move on to the next term. That's a really, really important... Oh, come on, conservatives! Come on, I'm on your freaking side! Don't you dare! Look, organized crime's done. Vigilante mobs are gone. Are you happy now? New major party donor. Excellent. Local blockbuster, a massive hit movie that is made in our country, is not only resulting in a boost to our economy, but it's doing wonders for our tourism. Grab the popcorn. Sweet. Cool. Actually, it's actually improving our foreign relations by portraying our country in a sympathetic light. Okay. It's kind of like that movie, Australia, which actually was a pretty good movie. Don't get me wrong. Crime is going down, GDP is on the rise, health is going up, poverty is down, unemployment is going to be one of the big ones for us. But first, we need to make sure that the religious and the conservatives like us a little bit more, because they are going to be crucial for us. And I think that the best way we can do that right now is actually just getting rid of prostitution entirely. Right now, it's a huge drag on the conservatives and the religious. Almost 30% for the religious, but a good 27.9% for the conservatives. Now, yes, it is boosting our GDP by about 3%. Again, because, well, in this case, it actually is technically a sort of kind of service that will make money. It's a job, I suppose, but it also is going to be pretty good for the tourism industry, I would imagine. But they don't actually want to say that here. They don't want to besmirch the foreign powers that would come over here and make use of our red light women. No, we just want to say it's a simple GDP thing, and that's fine. Liberals like this because, hey, it's freedom. They can do what they want, right? Parents are not a fan of this. So, by getting rid of this entirely, not only can we make the religious and the conservatives happy, but also the patriots, and who cares about those liberals, right? Nobody cares. Now, one of the things about legalizing prostitution is you actually can't just reduce it down to minimum and think that that's going to make everything all hunky-dory. It does not. You can see here they are still going to absolutely despise me, so the only solution really is to ban it, which I'm not a fan of doing only because it actually costs a lot of political capital, but don't I feel like I have a lot of choice? This is one of those GDP boosting policies that I never think is worth it. I mean, unless there are literally no religious or no conservative people in your nation, that's just straight up always going to be bad, as far as I can tell. And forget my own personal misgivings against prostitution. I definitely have my own problems with that, but that's not important. What's important is the game, and the game says prostitution is not worth it, and I am inclined to agree. So, okay, that alone should do quite a bit for us. Okay, well, I guess we should go ahead and move on into the final turn of this video. Conservatives still want to kill me. Could you please knock that off? Thank you. People smuggling. People have been caught inside cargo containers in an organized attempt at people smuggling to allow them to stay or deport them. So as sad as it is that they're probably seeking refuge from poverty and oppression, reality says that this is going to be a liberal ethnic minorities thing, and this one's going to be a conservative patriot thing, and we kind of need to make the conservatives and patriots happy. So they are not allowed to illegally enter our country. We are a nation of laws and borders, after all. We are surrounded by ocean. That is our border. So deport them. There we go. We're down to 10% of the vote right now, which is a little bit concerning, but I do think we'll be okay in the long run. Okay, how are we looking as far as the budget? Does it say here? Actually, no. It's moved on to the next page. We still have a deficit of about $56 billion per quarter, which is quite bad. We really need to improve our GDP, unfortunately, and there's a couple things we can do. We can either raise up a ridiculous income tax, right? We could do that, make an absolute crap ton of money. If we raise up to a 50% income tax, that alone will probably deal with most of our deficit. Equality actually goes up because it is considered to be a progressive income tax. It doesn't say it here. I mean, okay, yes, it does. It does say that. Poor earnings go down, but not as much as high earnings. Okay. But because of that, equality goes up. Capitalists obviously really do not like this. The wealthy, shockingly, do not care about a 50% tax. I mean, we're talking about taking an extra, 5% of their yearly income away from them. But somehow 5% does not translate into 50%. I'm not too sure how that works, to be honest. It also increases the likelihood that people will start using an internet currency that I'm not able to tax properly. Yeah, that'll be interesting. The big hit about the income tax is the middle income goes way freaking down. And that's not to say that their actual earnings goes down. I mean, it does. It's right here. But I'm talking about their opinion. The middle class hates higher income taxes. But we're going to have to accept this, I think, in order to survive. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and pass a higher income tax. And that is the end of this video, yes? Yes, it is. Wow, okay. Well, there are a few more things that I really wanted to do, but I just don't have the political capital to do right now. One thing in particular was trying to deal with the uncompetitive economy and possibly pass some sort of tariffs, but maybe that's not going to be necessary. I mean, I can see it ticking down a little bit. Or maybe we'll be able to pass some tariffs, but just a very small amount of tariffs, like 5%, just a teensy-weensy tax. And that might be enough to get rid of this, which will increase our GDP and make the capitalists a little bit happier as well. Antisocial behavior, still not quite on the way down. Okay, I do think we're going to have to go for CCTV cameras or some sort of other security policy in order to make that go away. Looking as far as the ghettos, they're starting to tick down now the vigilante mobs are gone. That's good. It's going to take a few more turns for this to actually tick away entirely, but it's working on it. Street gangs, kind of on their way down. We really do need to fix employment at some point as well, don't we? Yeah, that's actually another reason to kind of go for tariffs. Anything to try and make our country more competitive and kind of force people to buy and build in Australia might actually be better for us. Well, that's something I'm going to have to think about for next video, I think. But in the meantime, hopefully this new cabinet will work out really well for us in the long term. We're actually kind of hinging all of our hopes on them being effective. And I think that there are a few changes on the horizon, but Australia will survive. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. I know it was a shorter video, but I think you'll have to forgive me for that. Hit that like button if you did enjoy, leave a comment, of course, and subscribe if you have not already. My name is Pravus, and I will see you guys next time.